Hello, I'm the 10-minute English teacher. Let's get you exam ready. Today we're thinking about AQA GCSE English Language Paper 2, and we're going to be having a look at question 5. That's from section B, the writing section. Okay, so the paper itself starts with an hour's reading section, and you've got 4 questions. There are videos giving you a walkthrough of that reading section available in the playlist on the channel, so feel free to have a look at those. Today we're thinking about the writing section, which takes you 45 minutes. So here's the way to approach the question. This is certainly how the exam board recommend that you approach question 5. You should spend time planning your response. 5 minutes at the beginning of your time makes sense. I would recommend thinking about 5 or 6 things that are gonna happen in order in your piece of writing. So have a bit of a rough plan, very simple and straightforward, and then get on with writing that as your response. And at the end, you've got 5 minutes to edit. And when I say edit, that makes a lot more sense than just reading back. You will find mistakes in your spelling, punctuation and grammar, but better than that is to edit. Look for words or phrases that you've used and think about whether or not you can exchange those for something a little bit more ambitious. And if you look at a word that you want to change, just draw one line through the word and then write above it. Don't write in the margins for the exam. The examiner won't see that. So keep away from the spaces in the sides. So we've got a forest. It's something that you might have learned and might know. So here are some tips for you to be persuasive. I wouldn't recommend writing these at the top. Your planning time really makes sense to use that for planning the actual piece of writing. By the time you walk in the exam hall, you should know these things. You should know the features and how to be either descriptive or persuasive. So in the case of being persuasive, we've got these. Address the reader. Definitely speak to the reader directly in your writing. That makes sense. Facts and opinions and statistics are often included, but actually, if you're writing about something about say young people today, you don't have to start making up statistics like 67% of young people feel that that doesn't it doesn't necessarily always sound convincing. And if you're going to be aiming for the highest marks, that your tone will be consistent throughout, and that can sometimes just seem a little bit unbelievable. Much better for you to think about actually exploring some really great ideas that you've got. So we've got repetition, repeating a phrase or something in your writing. That makes sense. Rhetorical questions, we should know those and ensure that we use them throughout our work. We've got emotive language, statistics, which I've spoken about, and tripling is the rule of 3. You want to use 3 adjectives or something to or 3 points when to really drive home your ideas and be persuasive. And here is the question today. We're going to be looking at this one here. So section B is the writing section, and this is what you'll see on the day. You're advised to spend about 45 minutes on this section. You're reminded of the need to plan your answer, which is why we spoke about those 5 minutes at the beginning of this time and what you can do with those. You should write in full sentences. You should leave enough time to check your work at the end. That's when we edit. Here's the question. Don't bother going abroad. It's better to stay at home. Write an article for a broadsheet newspaper in which you explain your point of view on this issue. You get 24 marks for content and organisation and 16 marks for technical accuracy. So you're marked for a whole wide range of things in your writing, but ultimately your examiner wants you to have some really great ideas that you communicate clearly. So I've started with a quick plan. I'm going to be arguing that actually staying at home and not going abroad is a great idea. So here's my planning, and this is what I would write down before I get started. So I've got my introduction. I'm going to explore I'm going to share my viewpoint with my reader. I'm not going to mention the statement because that just isn't how newspaper articles or speeches for that matter start. So don't start with I disagree with the statement. No one cares about the statement. Don't mention the statement, just get into your writing. So for me, if I'm going to be saying that I think that going abroad is not the be all and end all, I might start with saying something like every year people go abroad and spend thousands of pounds doing so, but couldn't more be done, couldn't just as much fun be had at home. I'm not going to mention that there ever was a statement. I don't need to do that. And here are the things I'm going to explore in my response. I'm going to talk about our coastlines and the beaches that we can visit if you or you can visit if you stay at home, our cities and the different places that you can visit in the country. Our countryside might get a paragraph. What people would disagree might say. This is the counter argument. So some people might say that going abroad, and then I might share their opinions, and then in that paragraph I'm going to explain why those aren't valid, and I'm going to conclude by telling people to visit. So do come and visit Britain, or or if you are thinking about holiday and abroad, think again, and spend some time here. You'll find it really rewarding. And here's a model response from me. So we've got: every year, to the detriment of our planet, we Brits part with our cash and head off to the farthest flung regions of the world for our holidays. Whilst visiting hotspots like Spain might be enjoyable, isn't it time we start to think about what we could benefit from having a holiday closer to home? So there's my model paragraph. That's how I'm going to start. That's my introduction. And then after that, I'm walking through that plan. So I've started with a great paragraph there. I might have 1 or 2 paragraphs about our coastlines, but ultimately I've got really clear direction here that I can use in order to guide me through my response. And if it ends up that I run out of time and I end up not being able to talk about the countryside, then so be it. But I had a clear plan, and it means that I've got that sort of 35 minutes to be able to get my head down and write some really great writing to be able to check and edit at the end. So what you can do here is use some time to go through this yourself. You can steal my plan. Get yourself a piece of paper, give yourself about 35 minutes, write your own response, and then spend 5 minutes editing at the end. What can you change and improve? And if you need to go back to remind yourself of the persuasive techniques, feel free to use the play bar to do that. Okay, check out the other videos on my channel. I'll continue to add content. Feel free to ask for something you'd like to see me cover in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and keep revising.